Grand Theft Auto the Trilogy Definitive Edition. Now, you would think this would be an easy home run for Rockstar. I mean, you're taking games essentially from the PlayStation 2 era, giving them a new coat of paint and some new controls, and bringing them into the modern age. We've seen this time and time again with games from that generation, the PlayStation 2, GameCube, Xbox era, being brought back to modern platforms, and most of the time they turn out pretty good. Even the Xbox 360 era, we saw games like Saints Row, other sandbox games brought into the modern era, and you would assume, I mean, Rockstar has a bunch of money. Now, of course, a couple days ago on the channel, I covered GTA Trilogy, the Definitive Edition, stupid name, for the Nintendo Switch, and I was somewhat positive in the video. Obviously, there were some problems, things like the frame rate of the game. I sort of assumed that maybe that was just indicative of the Switch version, but it seems like that's across the board. Obviously, something that can be fixed in a patch, but it definitely felt a bit half-assed. Now, I'm still having fun with the games, and don't get me wrong. I mean, at the end of the day, these core games are great experiences, but it definitely seemed like there were some problems with the game, and maybe it needed another patch or 2 or 3. But as time has gone on, more and more things have been discovered with GTA Trilogy of the Definitive Edition, and this might be one of the most half-assed things like I've ever seen. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous how much stuff is being uncovered. A lot of this is, of course, glitches, and glitches are subjective. For every 5 people that experience weird glitches, 5 people have probably not had this problem or anything like that. But I want to show you guys some glitches that are being reported online, and then talk about the biggest problem when it comes to the PC version of the game, because it's just like, I literally can't believe, I made a joke about it in my video, but I can't believe it is necessarily true. So I'm showing you guys just some random GTA Vice City footage that I recorded because I don't really feel all that great. I have some chest congestion today. Kids, don't smoke. Or do whatever you want. I don't know. I'm not here to guide you through life. Obviously, there are health problems with it, but you know, if you're coming to this channel for life advice and not to be entertained, like, I don't know, ask for some new parents or something like that, whatever. Anyways, let's take a look at some of these glitches though, because I mean, it's just absolutely ridiculous. So of course, one of the cool things about San Andreas is the fact that you can completely customize your character. But it seems like if you do it with CJ, he'll just start floating in the air. You know, he's not really connected to anything right there. He's just sort of floating in the air if you make him as fat as he possibly can be. And it's like, this is half-assed. Like, why is this not being taken care of? Why is this an issue that prevails in this game? Moving right along, we have a Reddit clip showing CJ in the garage, and I mean, they might want to get like a new roofer, because obviously he did not do a good job roofing this thing, because there's rain coming in through the roof. And it's like, this didn't happen in the original version of the game. This was not an issue in the original version of the game. This wasn't something that resided in the original version of the game. But here, the rain is clearly coming through the roof. And it's like, at its core, it's not a huge deal, but once you start adding this in with the fact of other issues in the game, it becomes more and more prevalent of what the major issue is with this game. It's half-assed. It's half-assed. What is this? What is this? Nobody in real life looks like this. Nobody in real life looks like this. And for the most part, I don't have a major issue with the character models. Some of the character models were changed definitely for the worst, and it's like, okay, you know, I get it. That's definitely an issue, especially when they're sort of iconic characters. But this, nobody's mouth looks, you know whose mouth looks like this? The Joker. The Joker from Batman 1989, the Tim Burton film. Yes, this is Jack Nicholson. Like, this is ridiculous. Here we have something we see a lot with text changes for the game, because for some reason, I honestly don't think a human did this. It had to be an AI that looked at this and then turned it into top bun. Top bun. That doesn't even make sense. That makes no logical sense. And that's something you see more and more throughout the game. Just weird sort of grammatical mistakes and misspellings, actually, you know, just words being completely changed in the game. And it's like, did you not look over this? Did you not tend to check, you know, how the fonts came out in the game? It seems like something so basic and something so simple, yet it clearly wasn't done with this game. Boy, those rain effects are sure looking great. Like, I know we have issues with the climate and stuff like that, whatever, but I don't think that rain is going to change its trajectory anytime soon and like come up instead of down and down instead of up. Like, once again, this is something that's just completely half-assed. This is something that could have been easily avoidable if you just played the game. If you just looked at how rain, which is obviously something that is prevalent in these games, would adjust to things like flying. I don't understand how this was sort of overlooked. Here's a fun one. Poor CJ, just driving, what the hell? Jesus Lord, somebody save him. And it's like, yeah, that's indicative of a sandbox game. Weird things like this can happen in a sandbox game, but you expect things like this to not necessarily happen. Completely just weird physics stuff where a ghost car comes out of nowhere. I mean, look at this, literally a ghost car. Let's see if we can capture the moment it happens. All right, right there, where is it? Hold on. Right there, look, ghost car. This is a ghost. This is a spirit. This is an apparition coming to kill CJ. Maybe someone from his past, you know, maybe someone from his future because they time traveled or something like that. Maybe it's Marty McFly in the DeLorean and he hit his 88 miles per hour and now he's going into a different time frame and they're just, bye CJ, bye. This is, you're gone, you're gone. But I'm a reasonable man. I understand that there's going to be issues and glitches in a sandbox game. You would expect there to be less issues considering the fact that there are created issues in these specific versions of the game versus the original versions of the game. But the games are still somewhat fun. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm not enjoying playing the games because I am still playing the games. I am still enjoying playing the games. But this last thing is just absolutely amazing, because if you watch my video, you know that I approached a nudie bar and I made a joke about the hot coffee mod. Now, if you're not familiar with what the hot coffee mod was, basically it was something that cost Take-Two a lot of money, because in the PC version of the game, it was discovered that there was a sex mini game in it that was completely just overridden. It was hidden in the source code. You couldn't really access it. I think you could possibly access it with like a Game Shark though for console versions of the game, but basically San Andreas got pulled off of the marketplace and then they had to give an AO rating and all this stuff. It was a whole big to deal. Well, what if I told you that they left hot coffee in San Andreas in this version of the game? You would think that there's no chance in hell. You've got no chance, no chance in hell. But yes indeed, it looks like hot coffee is in here. So some people were tinkering around with the source code of the game, obviously, because I mean that's what people like to do. They found a bunch of stuff with the music tracks that were just like, they weren't completely removed, they were just unavailable to be accessed in the game. There was developers notes talking shit about the game essentially and just how poor this version of the game was. But hot coffee is in the GTA remasters. There are two different people corroborating that this is actually a thing. This obviously was being recorded by Video Games Chronicle, but it seems like hot coffee is, yes, indeed in this version of the game. Now, if you've been paying attention, you would know that the PC version of the game for Grand Theft Auto Trilogy, the Definitive Edition, has been down for several days. Rockstar took it off their launcher. They actually took down the launcher and then they relaunched the Rockstar PC game launcher, but the trilogy is not available to play on there yet, and it's more than likely because of this. So how did this all happen? How have we gotten to the point of where GTA Trilogy, the Definitive Edition, is arguably one of the most polarizing games of 2021? This is essentially like a cyberpunk situation, and I really feel like there's just one answer. The game is half-assed. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's like there's only half of an ass. I want to feel the full ass, not just a half of an ass, not just the right cheek. I want the left and the right cheek. And this game does not offer you that. This game only offers you the right cheek. And it's like this should have been such an easy thing to do. This should have been a very simple game to create, because realistically, you have the template already. You already have these games that were available for many years on the PlayStation 2, the PC, the Xbox, whatever. But now you tried to mess around with stuff. You tried to make it look a little, all they should have really done was just done HD textures for what was already in the game and improved upon the controls. And I feel like a lot of this stuff would have just been, you know, non-existent, because you wouldn't be tinkering with the source code. But when you take a big sandbox game that has a lot of source code in it, that has a lot of variables in it, and you start messing with one thing, it's going to cause a ripple effect. It's going to cause a trickle down effect to where one thing might not look like it impacts anything, but as you play deeper into the game, it does indeed impact something. So this is just ridiculous. Now, I'm still playing these games. And that's the sad thing, because I love these games so much. They bring me back so many childhood memories. I'm still enjoying them, but it's like there should have been so much more. And I almost feel bad for like supporting this practice, because I bought the games, but at least I bought the games before knowing there was all these issues. Like, you could still play these games and you could still have fun. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. But it should have been so much more. It should have been a more quality version of the game. And realistically, they just rushed this. Look at the turnaround time for when the game was announced to when the game was released. Why isn't the physical version available on the same day? Because it's rushed. It's rushed. That's why you had to wait another month for the physical version. Rockstar planned on GTA 5 being available for the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X with those next-gen versions of the game. And when it realized that that was not going to be capable and that was not going to be done in time because that ended up being delayed, they needed something else. So I'm sure some patches will fix these things, but the fact that hot coffee is still in this game, the fact that there are so many bizarre glitches, it makes no sense. Like I can't believe it. I really can't believe it, but I mean, I'm still playing them, so I guess I have problems. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I don't feel too great today. I got a chest cold, but yeah. Let me know what you think of this. Have you had any funny glitches? Let me know in the comment section down below. Are you gonna hack it to get hot coffee? Because I guess the internet and porn doesn't exist anymore. And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you are new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button, like and share the video as well. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Later.